So and I'm going to pull this cap, I'm going to pull this cap, and pull this gear out. I'm going to go to town. I'm going to forge ahead. Should have looked at this a lot closer when I was buying it. Something like that, that's enough to make me walk away from something like this. I know, some of you are saying, it's kind of silly to walk away just because of that. But you can understand. There's plenty of these big old drill presses around. And there are nicer ones going for less money. You know, there is a Sipp drill press that is, last time I checked, it was still on eBay because the guy just keeps relisting it in the hopes that somebody will just finally buy the damn thing from him. The thing is in running condition. It's got a 3-phase motor on it, so that means you just throw a VFD right on that and you're ready to go. And not only that, but this whole upper box, this whole upper section right here is housed in a box. So no exposed belts or belt drives to pinch your fingers in. Which means, not that I care about it here in my little home workshop, but it means it probably would be OSHA safe. But anyways, point is, the thing runs. Local pickup only, he's not going to ship it. I don't think. But I want to say last time I checked, he was down to 150 bucks as an opening bid. And there's a reason why nobody's getting it, you know? I mean, part of the reason is because it's a Sipp. That was an old, like, Rochester or whatever, Excelsior, whatever, Camelback. That thing would have been sold already. And it would have brought more money. Camelbacks are hot commodity because they're just so cool looking. Check out Keith Finner's videos. Can't tell you exactly which video to go look for, but at some point in his video series you can watch him do some work on his Camelback drill press that he's got in his shop. Talk about a nice looking cool drill press. That sucker is, I think it stands 8 feet tall or something like that. I don't know how tall Keith is, but he used to get up on a ladder when he's servicing anything up top there. Oh, damn it. Always the last screw. Well, technically I got 3 on here I gotta deal with. I'm not saying I overpaid for this drill press. Quite frankly, I really am not that sure what I can do with this drill press that I can't do with my Delta sitting over in the corner. That works perfectly fine, it has nothing wrong with it. Yeah, like cool big old machines, that's the deal there. These are all the same size as these, so. Wonder what's going to be underneath here. Doesn't want to come up. Check out what's going on the other end, I guess. Oh. Just dealing with that one stubborn screw before I get that one off before I flip this over. What is going on with my... Oh my. My adjustable needs maintenance. Oh! You know, all of them were coming out so well, and then now this one's camming out. Although, I just looked at this screwdriver and realized it's not a great blade on it. I can do better. Come on. Aha. Alright. Now I'm getting angry. Well, I'm not sure why this isn't coming out, and I didn't see any screws from the bottom or a cap on the bottom, because this side's different than the other side. That side had the drive shaft go right up through it. But I did scrape some of the gunk and crud off the top of this ring here, and you can see there are screws in this ring that hold this ring down to the top of this. So I'm going to take those screws out and see what happens. Well, guys, I had a heck of a time getting this apart. And I'm not even convinced this is necessarily the way this is supposed to come apart, but I am finally making some headway. I ended up removing those 3 screws that are really kind of hard to get at. They're kind of in here, and so what happens is you can't get a screwdriver in there straight on because the step pulley's in the way. So that's why I think those screws are made to be removed after the pulley's out of the way, which makes me think that this isn't the way it's supposed to come apart. But I think what's happening is this is seized up onto the shaft up here. So what I did was I used a little screwdriver insert that fit really well and a 1/4 inch open end wrench, and was able to actually loosen 2 of the 3 pretty easily. And that third one right here was really stubborn. So I hit it with the propane torch and got it really hot on this side, and then I used a pin punch, and the backs of these screws are actually visible from the underside there. I put the pin punch right on the underside of the screw. While it was really still hot, I gave it some taps, and that thermal shock broke it free, and I was able to then go back and use my little insert with the wrench trick and get that out. And now I started with a putty knife prying around here, and I've been working at it with the screwdrivers now as wedges, and this is actually starting to pull out from this side. And as it is coming out of this side, this up here is opening up more. So it's starting to look like if I can get this popped out, then maybe this whole thing will slide out to a point where maybe I can see what's going on and why it's all seized up. Okay, so I got that now. This whole assembly here, just a little hot, pulled out from this top part right here. But now I think this inner shaft needs to somehow come off of, this pulley needs to come off of the shaft on the inside, maybe, I don't know. But it almost seems to me like this cap was supposed to lift off the end of this shaft when I got these 3 screws out, and it didn't. So I gotta try and figure out why that happened. Alright, so I think this right here that I'm pointing at is a ball bearing, and that it's pressed, the outside of this ball bearing is pressed into this cap. And then I think the inside of this ball bearing is pressed onto the shaft here. And the shaft might actually be, it's not going to be part of this pulley. It's going to have to be pressed through the pulley maybe, I don't know. But right now I'm thinking just to get this off of here, if I can get this cap off of the outside of the bearing, then I can just pull this out and get it away from here and work on it on the bench. Well, the guy I bought the welder from, amongst some of the other stuff he was throwing out that I grabbed that I forgot to show you guys was a whole bunch of chuck jaws that he had laying around.
and he didn't have the chucks anymore. And he was going to throw them out anyways, and then I decided to take them because I thought, you know, they make nice little stands for like on the milling table. You know, you've got, these are pretty accurate as far as height wise goes. So, but I just happen to use them right now to prop up. I'm propping up this edge right here, and then I'm using a brass drift to kind of at an angle pound on the end of that shaft. And I was about to give up because it didn't seem like it was working, but now you can see that now you can see the bearing is starting to come out, so it is working. So I just got to keep at it. Yeah, in other words, this spindle, which this pulley, which I had already taken off, this has got a set screw, and that's what goes on that. Must go on that thing. Yeah, so this just goes on like this, and then that set screw engages that hole right there, I guess, to lock it in. So that's simple enough. So that one actually engages the spindle. Yeah, so there we go. So the shaft that goes down to the spindle's actually got these grooves in the side that those round pins actually sit in. So I wonder if that's so that can go... Oh, so maybe that's going to need to slide through that shaft. I'll worry about that later. I figure that ain't nothing I can't clean up with a file at some point. This bearing, by the way, before I even started pounding on it, was just completely seized. And that sucker's been toast for a while. Alright, so it's pretty clear to me that this bearing is just a press fit onto the shaft here. But what I don't quite get is the shaft. This shaft is thinner in diameter than this pulley. So is that a shaft that's pushed through this pulley? And also, what's going on in this end? So I don't know what the deal is with this ring right here. I mean, if there's a bearing underneath there, it's pretty trashed. It's sloppy as heck.